right, let's hit the field.
All right.
Just wanted to talk, that's all.
Today is Thursday, August 8th, and the Yankees were taking on the Angels in the rubber match of a 3-game set under the raindrops in the Bronx. Nestor Cortes on the mound trying to get back on the winning track. My recap, your reactions coming up next. This is NYY Recaps.
Welcome to Yankee Stadium.
New York City.
Just when they thought I was out, they pull me back, kid.
How's it going, everybody? Welcome back. The best comment that I saw while the opening credits were playing there is from Action VJ, who just says, "Thank God it's over." I feel the same way. I'm actually kind of astonished that they played this game, but really anybody who's blaming the weather for the Yankees' loss has to realize that both teams have to play in the same weather. Both teams have to face the same conditions. And the Yankees were very uncompetitive tonight. Pouring rain all night long, guys slipping and sliding all over the place. Apparently the concern was that the Angels would have to come back to Yankee Stadium at the end of the year. Oh no! Not come back to New York on a private jet and stay at the Ritz and be paid tens of thousands of dollars. No. Let's play in a frickin' monsoon. It's not like they were being sentenced to hard labor in Siberia. They were going to come to Yankee Stadium in the fall in New York City. It's beautiful. But it was not to be. They played through it anyway. And it was a pitiful performance by the Yankees. And it was very much aligned with how the Yankees have played this summer. Clobber the Phillies and then lose 2 out of 3 games to a team like the Angels. It makes me dread having to face the White Sox next week. You wonder if they're going to actually show up. Horrible start for Nestor Cortes. Nasty in a bad way. We'll talk about that in a minute. And the Yankees had no answers for Tyler Anderson, somebody that they were linked to at the trade deadline. And they now have they have a horrible record. 12-17. I think it's the worst against left-handed pitchers in baseball. That's hard to believe, given, some of the left-handed or some of the right-handed monsters that the Yankees have on this team. Aaron Judge, Giancarlo Stanton, kills lefties. Although he did miss a chunk of the season. Gleyber Torres, DJ has always hit lefties pretty well, but I guess he missed part of the year. So, statistical oddity maybe, or just the way to beat the Yankees. Great tweet from Max Goodman on how bad the Yankees starting pitching has been, and it gets worse pretty much every night. Yankees starter ERAs since June 1st. Marcus Stroman, 6.32. Carlos Rodon, 5.83, although he's been okay lately. Garrett Cole, 5.09. That's his entire ERA this year. Luis Gil, 4.31. Again, he's been better lately. And Nestor Cortes, 5.68. He's been atrocious lately. Atrocious. Worst of all, Orioles lost to the Blue Jays. So the Yankees missed an opportunity to take over first place again. Missed opportunities. That's going to be the story of this Yankees season. If they're not leaving guys on base, they're grounding into double plays, making big errors, just a lot of missed opportunities. And they had an opportunity to take over first place tonight, and they did not capitalize. As Joe Girardi would say, it is not what you want. These games matter. They matter. And if you lose the division by 1 game, you're going to look back on nights like tonight where the effort was minimal. I mean, minimal. Someone just commented that they looked like they were playing for a rainout or hoping for a rainout. And I agree with that completely. But you're going to look back on nights like tonight and realize that it was the difference and be incredibly frustrating. Incredibly frustrating. All right, let's talk about Nestor Cortes. Remember how we said for the last few starts that he's been hitting too many bats, So my dad used to say to me in Little League when I was, getting rocked. But hit a lot of bats again tonight. 9 hits allowed, 6 earned runs, just 2 strikeouts. He doesn't seem to have much left in the tank. 94 pitches to get 14 outs is pitiful. It's a shame that MLB is cracking down on the phantom IL. They suspended former Yankee executive Billy Epler because he used the phantom IL. And that was kind of a signal to other teams, hey, cut it out. And so you really can't do it anymore. But if anyone has ever needed it, it's Nestor Cortes. He looks absolutely gassed. And the worst part is that he can't shut down the damage once it begins to pile up. He just gives up rocket after rocket after rocket, like he's throwing batting practice. It's embarrassing. It's embarrassing. And the Yankees are going to have to look at solutions because I'm not sure you can keep running him out there in a pennant race if he's going to pitch like this. Let's talk a little bit about prospects. August is the toughest time of the year to be a baseball podcaster because aside from the games, there's not a lot going on to talk about. The playoffs are still, 7 weeks out. You get award talk soon, but not quite yet. It's still a little bit too early to talk about things like MVP, Rookie of the Year. I mean, we can mention it, but still a lot of baseball left to be played. So this time of year, I like to talk about prospects, and Baseball America is far and away, the best spot, in my opinion, for prospect coverage. And they have released their list of the top 10 Yankees prospects as of right now. And a lot of familiar names on this list. So let's go through it. Obviously, you see the Martian, Jason Dominguez, maintains the number 1 spot. He has pretty consistently been top 3 in the Yankees prospects since about 2020. Signed when he was 16. Obviously made a huge debut last year. He's coming back from Tommy John surgery. He just recovered from the oblique injury, and he's getting ramped back up at AAA. But the numbers this year so far, pretty good. He is hitting .316 with 6 home runs, .889 OPS in just 114 at-bats. By the way, these stats are as of about 7 p.m. this evening when I was putting this graphic together, so there might be some that have gone up or down tonight, but just taking a snapshot in time of how everything looks on August 8th. I've seen a number of articles lately about how the switch hitting is kind of a dying art, especially in the Americas. They mentioned that, or especially in America, not the Americas, but in America, because of all the travel ball. They talked about that on the broadcast tonight. Dominguez, obviously an international signee, but he's a fantastic switch hitter, the rare plus switch hitter with power. And he could be in the big leagues again as soon as next month, so stay tuned for that. Spencer Jones comes in at number 2. He's hitting .246 this year. Okay power, 13 home runs, 757 OPS. Still runs like a deer, 21 stolen bases. But the strikeouts are a big problem. 149 strikeouts and 358 at-bats. I haven't done the math on what percentage that is, but it's pretty high. It's not what you want. Moving down the list, we have George Lombard Jr. and Roderick Arias, a pair of 19-year-old shortstops. Neither one of them putting up huge offensive numbers, but still very much in the development phase of their careers. Obviously running wild on minor league catchers with 30 and 29 stolen bases, respectively. I'll tell you what, Lombard Jr. impressed me in spring training. And Roderick Arias was the top international signee the year after Dominguez. And he's also a switch hitter. So, we'll see how that shakes out. But I think both of these guys have a bright future. Chase Hampton comes in at number 5. He has not pitched much this year because of injuries, just 16 2/3 innings pitched. And at 23 years old, this was a big year in his development. Yankees probably expected him to be in AAA by now and perhaps be an option to fill in for somebody like Nestor Cortes when he's struggling. But it has not worked out. Just 6 games started, just 16 2/3 innings pitched. But if he finishes strong at least, you got a chance to put yourself in the conversation next spring. Will Warren at number 6, obviously watched him last night get smashed. Did not have a good year at AAA either. I think he's got some potential, but he's not ready yet, in my opinion. Number 7 is Ben Hess, 21 years old, drafted this year, 5.80 ERA in college, but 106 strikeouts in 68 innings. And I was listening to a podcast, I think it was Hot Sheet, where they were talking about, what do you look for in a college pitcher, right? Because there's so much offense in college. And really swing and miss stuff is huge. And 68 innings, 106 strikeouts is legit. That plays. So we'll see if they can transform him into a really good pitcher. Same goes for Bryce Cunningham, 21 years old, second-round pick, 4.36 ERA in college, 96 strikeouts in 84 and 2/3 innings. I think it's interesting that they took some college pitchers in the early rounds this year, obviously trying to replenish the system with some polished arms after trading away a number of guys in recent years, J.P. Sears, Hayden Wesneski, Randy Vasquez. And, people these days are saying that college baseball is essentially at minor league level in a lot of cases. I mean, it is really good coaching now. Really good coaching, really good metrics. There's a lot of money in college baseball. Rounding out the top 10, Ben Rice at number 9 and Brock Selvage at number 10. Big fans of both these guys. Ben Rice obviously has huge power, 7 home runs coming into tonight, 3 home runs in a game already. He's the reason I am bald, by the way. Shaved it again today. I think I'm getting used to it. I like the way the blue light from the studio reflects off my dome. I like it. I dig it. Brock Selvage, legitimately good stuff from what I hear. I've seen a couple of clips. Reminds me of Scott Kazmir a little bit, if you guys remember him. Another guy I think you could see shoot up the list next year is Henry Lillane, 6'7" lefty, 20 years old, 6 1/3 innings this year. But if he can stay healthy, he's got ace-level stuff, 20 years old. So let me know in the comments which prospects you're most excited to see. I obviously can't wait to see Dominguez. I'm looking forward to seeing the development of Roderick Arias and George Lombard Jr. as they move through the minor leagues. I think they're going to both be really good. And I want to get a better look at Chase Hampton as he progresses. So let me know in the comments how you guys feel about the top 10 prospects. Let's talk a little bit about Austin Wells versus Jose Trevino, because we're getting Jose Trevino back soon, it sounds like. They talked a little bit about this on the broadcast tonight, but you see the unwritten rule in baseball where you're not supposed to lose your job to an injury, right? But Trevino may have done that. You look at the fielding run value for Trevino, 93rd percentile, so one of the best fielders in baseball. But Austin Wells isn't far behind, 88th percentile. And you see the batting run value is much better, 61st percentile, so well above average, whereas, Trevino not qualified, but he was well below average. He squares the ball up, but he doesn't have much power, doesn't hit the ball very hard. Wells has legit power. He hits the ball in the sweet spot. His expected batting average is pretty high, so he's been lucky. And you see from the spray chart, he sprays the ball all over the field. Got massive power. And look at this. In the 96th percentile of walk percentage. And framing, 93rd percentile. Now, obviously, that's a skill that's going to go away as the automated ball strike system comes into play. Trevino also ranks very well in framing, 97th percentile. Also great in blocks, 94th percentile, whereas Austin Wells is, about average, 51st percentile. I feel like Austin Wells tries to pick it with his one hand too much rather than actually blocking, so that's something he's got to work on. Pop time is good. In terms of throwing out runners, Austin Wells is in the 32nd percentile, and Jose Trevino is in the 15th percentile. So Wells clearly better at a young age. So, Trevino was the primary catcher when he went down with the quad injury, but Wells has stepped up, and he's progressed as a hitter. He looks dangerous out there. 1 for 4 tonight, but just missed a couple of home runs. I think he's going to be an excellent hitter, and I've kind of come around to the fact that I want him to get the bulk of the at-bats when Trevino comes back. It's time to make that transition. Like, who do you think is going to start in Game 1 of the playoffs? Be interesting. I want to know from the audience and the people in the comments who you would start as your 1A catcher in the playoffs. Lefty, righty, do you go that way? Or do you just stick with one guy and ride him? So let me know in the comments. All right, let's talk about this game. It was not a pretty one, obviously.
All right, let's go. Let's get it going.
And it didn't start off pretty. Nolan Schanuel, who got called up after like 5 minutes in the minor leagues, made it 1-0 Angels with a home run into the right field bleachers. Angels like to call up guys like right away. But it's a good thing that was a home run because Juan Soto didn't look like he had any idea where the ball was going to come down. Bottom 2, Jazz Chisholm with his first Yankee Stadium home run. It's not a great night to play the hype reel because we got crushed, but we'll take a look at it.
That ball is high. It is far. It is gone.
Up and in, and he finds the bleachers. 18th home run of the season. Already his 5th home run since joining the Yankees. And it made me think about Matt Carpenter. You remember that run he had a couple of years ago? 15 home runs and 128 at-bats? We could use one of those streaks right now. Top of the 3rd inning, the rain was really bad. I thought they were going to call it. I thought we were going to erase that first part of the game and just start over. But they played through it, and Nestor was bad. Gave up 3 hits. Angels took a 2-1 lead. He did get a nice double play to get out of it. Got another double play courtesy of Gleyber Torres to end the top of the 4th inning. Gleyber's usually allergic to double plays, so I was surprised he didn't go into anaphylactic shock. It stunned me. Torres was done after 4 2/3, 9 hits allowed, 6 earned runs, ERA on the season up to 4.42, and it doesn't get much uglier than the performance tonight. And looking at him, he looks like he's a little out of shape. You know? I mean, it's the middle of summer. Shouldn't you have lost some weight? Shouldn't you be a little bit more trim right now? He just doesn't look like he's in great shape to me. I mean, I'm sorry, I don't want to like fat shame or anything like that, but I'm looking at a picture of him right now. It's on the thumbnail. Got the belly hanging over. He kind of looks like me. I mean, but I'm not an athlete. I'm a podcaster. Anyway, I'll be honest with you. After Nestor came out and after the Angels tacked on a few more runs, I kind of just lost interest in the game, and I was playing some MLB The Show on my Nintendo Switch. But Yankees had a mini rally late in the game. It was too little too late. We had an RBI single from Juan Soto, who, by the way, earlier in the game, big play. It was a soft line drive to right field. He tried to make a do-or-die catch, and he died. And all 3 runs scored. So they call it do-or-die because if you miss the play, it allows the runs to score. Basically kills your chances. So we had an opposite field home run from Oswaldo Cabrera, 102-mile-an-hour fastball, and he took it the other way. Very impressive. But overall, an awful showing from the Yankees, and they lose 2 out of 3 to the Angels.
Mission failed. We'll get him next time.
You get nothing. You lose. Good day, sir. If you ain't first, you're last.
Darthius says Nestor looks like he's been training to join the Blue Jays. Blue Jays notoriously known for their fitness with Alejandro Kirk, and I think they used to have Daniel Vogel back. Obviously, Vladdy has had some years where he was not exactly svelte, but anyway, let's take a few comments here. Yankee Basher 21 says, too many beers after games did the trick for Nestor. You know, a lot of teams let players drink in the clubhouse. I always liked what Bobby Valentine would say, which is that alcohol and athletics don't mix. You know? I think that if you're a professional athlete, I honestly don't think you should drink at all during the season. I think you should try and keep yourself in, amazing shape. It's just my belief. But not everybody feels that way. And pitchers, a lot of people, they say, pitchers aren't athletes. They're pitchers. So, anyway, we'll see. Roman De Los Santos says, can there be a fire Boone day? Let's settle down. They are tied for first place. This is not the end of the world, but they are they're not playing well against bad teams, and they're not playing well at home. Those are two things that have got to be fixed ASAP. Wayne Wilcox says that Soto looks human this series. Soto is human, and he's got a hurt hand, and I don't know exactly what's wrong. They haven't said what exactly is wrong, but I'd imagine he's in some pain right now. It sounds like the weather's going to be bad again tomorrow, and Aaron Boone basically said that he doubts they're going to play this game tomorrow. So, maybe, an extra day, maybe an extra 2 days of rest will be just the trick for him. All right, let's wrap it up. Take a few more comments here. Very sparse crowd. And the Yankees just continue to stink at Yankee Stadium, which is very perplexing. We got a voicemail from one of our regular call-in guys, Brian from upstate New York. And I'm going to let him take the helm here for just a second as we talk about the Yankees splits.
What's up, Derek? This is Brian, upstate New York. Just calling, curious to what your thought is, or thoughts in general, as to why the Yankees are just playing so bad at home. They have the best road record in baseball. It seems like they can't win a series at home. It's honestly a head scratcher. A little bit confused. You think with the dimensions of Yankee Stadium and that they would just take that advantage and run with it. I'm just confused to how the team just looks awful at home more often than not. Just curious to see what your thoughts were. All right, man. Hopefully we rebound. I believe we got one more series at home till we hit the road. Let's win this next one.
Yeah, the Rangers coming to town. You wonder how much baseball they're going to get in. But it's definitely concerning because you've got to be able to play well at your home ballpark. And I wonder if it's just one of those weird statistical anomalies or if it's some kind of a group psychosis. Like, we don't play well here, so everybody gets tight. Luckily, as I mentioned, Orioles lost to the Blue Jays tonight 7-6, and thus the AL East remains tied. So let's call it a night because it's been a long day. I've been working literally since I woke up this morning at like 6:01. I had an email and I went after it, and I just sat here and I worked till like 10. I took a quick break and now I'm tired. I've been working all day. So I'm going to call it a night, hit the sack a little bit early, and get after it tomorrow. So call in with your voicemail, 718-899-1068, and we'll talk about what's on your mind, and I'll see you next time.